Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jamuna Thira Banachari Jamuna Thira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jamuna Thira Banachari Jamuna Thira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhansa Padivrachakacharya Asthotarasata Sri Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhansa Padivrachakacharya Asthotarasata Sri Srimad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananti Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Sikaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Sham Kund Radha Kund Giti Govardhan Ki Jai. Sri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Sri Navadvip Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Sri Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Sri Mathura Dham Ki Jai. Sri Dwarka Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Yamuna Mai Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Tulasi Devi Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Gaura Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Sakatam sevayatasya. Sakatam sevayatasya. Kalena jarasam gataha. Kalena jarasam gataha. Prishtovartam pratibhruyad. Prishtovartam pratibhruyad. Bharatu padav anusmaram. Bharatu padav anusmaram. Sakatam sevayatasya. Sakatam sevayatasya. Kalena jarasam gataha. Kalena jarasam gataha. Prishtovartam pratibhruyad. Prishtovartam pratibhruyad. Bhartu padav anusmaran. Bhartu padav anusmaran. Sakatam sevayatasya. Sakatam sevayatasya. Kalena jarasam gataha. Kalena jarasam gataha. Prishtovartam pratibhruyad. Prishtovartam pratibhruyad. Bhartu padav anusmaran. Bhartu padav anusmaran. Sakatam sevayatasya. Kalena jarasam gataha. Prishtovartam pratibhruyad. Bhartu padav anusmaran. Sakatam sevayatasya. Sakatam sevayatasya. Kalena jarasam gataha. Kalena jarasam gataha. Prishtovartam pratibhruyad. Prishtovartam Ladies. Uddhava Katham. How? Sevaya. By such service. Tasya. His. Kalena. In course of time. Jarasam. Invalidity. Gata. Undergone. Prishta. Asked for. Bharatam. Message. Pratibruyat. Just to reply. Bharatu. Of the Lord. Padao. His lotus feet. Anusmaran. Remembering. Uddhava thus served the Lord continually from childhood, and in his old age, that attitude of service never slackened. As soon as he was asked about the message of the Lord, he at once remembered all about him. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Transcendental service to the Lord is not mundane. The service attitude of the devotee gradually increases and never becomes slackened. Generally, in old age, a person is allowed retirement from mundane service. But in the transcendental service of the Lord, there is no retirement at all. On the contrary, the service attitude increases more and more with the progress of age. In the transcendental service, there is no satiation, and therefore there is no retirement. Materially, when a man becomes tired, by rendering service in his physical body, he is allowed retirement. But in the transcendental service, there is no feeling of fatigue because it is spiritual service and is not on the bodily plane. Service on the bodily plane dwindles as the body grows older, but the spirit is never old, and therefore on the spiritual plane, the service is never tiresome. Uddhava undoubtedly became old, but that does not mean that his spirit became old. His service attitude matured on the transcendental plane, and therefore as soon as he was questioned by Vidura about Lord Krishna, he at once remembered his Lord by reference to the context and forgot himself on the physical plane. That is the sign of pure devotional service to the Lord, as will be explained later. Lakshana Bhakti Yogasya, etc., in Lord Kapila's instructions to his mother, Devahuti. Om Akyantimidandasya Anjana Chalakaya Chakshudum Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Sri Rupam Sagrajataham Sahakana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Harijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahakana Lalita Sri Vishakan Vitanscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Uddhava thus served the Lord continually from childhood, and in his old age that attitude of service never slackened. As soon as he was asked about the message of the Lord, he at once remembered all about him. We are reading today from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 2, entitled Remembrance of Lord Krishna. Text number 3. On behalf of our whole community, we welcome Her Grace Dina Tarini Devi, one of the truly senior, exalted, pure devotional servants of His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Most confidential, dear friend and god sister of Her Grace Yamuna Devi, and one of the most merciful well-wishers of our Radha Gopinath community for so long time. We are very grateful you are here, Dina Tarini Devi, and let us, everyone, with great enthusiasm, shake the universe by welcoming her to Radha Gopinath Temple. And we also have His Grace Shrutikirti Prabhu and his dear wife Vishaka Saki Devi. Shrutikirti Prabhu, we were very dear friends when we were both brahmacharis together. And one day, he just left the kitchen from cooking for all the devotees to be Srila Prabhupada's personal servant for many years. He was with Srila Prabhupada, I think the longest acting personal servant of Srila Prabhupada. He was with him 24 hours a day. And how much you please Srila Prabhupada in your life of devotion. Thank you, and he's written so many beautiful books. As Dina Tarini Devi had wrote that beautiful biography of Yamuna Devi, Shrutikirti Prabhu, what is the difficulty? After you titled your book like that, when I hear Srila Prabhupada's recordings, I remember you so often because he says that so often. What is the difficulty? And when Srila Prabhupada says, what is the difficulty, he says it in the context where everyone thinks there's difficulty. Krishna consciousness is simple. We turn to Krishna to please Krishna. And that's the success, purpose of life. So what is the difficulty? Srila Prabhupada describes in World War II when Calcutta was being bombed and people were running to bomb shelters. Srila Prabhupada was cooking for Krishna. What is the difficulty? So we are so honored, so grateful you are here with us, Shrutikirti Prabhu. Let us very, very gratefully and enthusiastically welcome Shrutikirti Prabhu to Radha Gopinath Temple. And we welcome everyone. Let us very enthusiastically, you can welcome everyone except yourself by loudly chanting Hari. As far as difficulties, this particular chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam is revealing most intimate, deep secrets of spirituality and knowledge in the presence of great difficulty. In previous chapters, we read of Vidura. He was actually the most qualified person to be the emperor of the world. But because of some social technicality, he couldn't. Pandu became the emperor. He had 5 sons, the Pandavas. Dhritarashtra, the elder brother, he was blind, so he could not take that service at that time. But when Pandu passed away, Dhritarashtra, the uncle of Pandavas, was meant just to take that position until Yudhishthira Maharaj grew old enough to do it himself, because he was a child. But the sons of Dhritarashtra, they wanted that position. They were filled with envy. Even though the Pandavas went to school with them and treated them just like brothers, they could not tolerate that someone else was getting that position. So Duryodhana and his brothers and colleagues influenced Dhritarashtra to commit so many atrocities, to kill the Pandavas, along with their mother Kunti, by burning them alive, by giving poison, by cheating, and even by exiling them. And throughout the whole situation, Vidura, the brother of Dhritarashtra, was accepted as the most important consultant and minister to give advice to Dhritarashtra. And with great love and respect for his brother, and literally for everybody, because he's a pure devotee of Krishna, he was always speaking the truth to Dhritarashtra. And when he saw that his brother just couldn't hear the truth, and along with Duryodhana, they were making all these plots and schemes, Vidura would secretly inform the Pandavas to save their lives again and again. He was always their well-wisher. But still, he was in that most difficult political scenario that's imaginable. And after the Pandavas were in the forest, I believe for 13 years, and their exile was over, and Srila Prabhupada describes in purport of summary, Yudhishthira Maharaj, Arjuna, they sent Krishna as a messenger to try to negotiate something that actually wasn't at all fair in favor of the Pandavas. With all humility, Yudhishthira Maharaj requested, just give us 5 villages. You rule the rest of the planet. And they sent Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, to Dhritarashtra with this message. Duryodhana would not do it. As it is said, he replied, "We will not give him enough land to place the point of a pin into." This was their greed, their arrogance, their envy. And it was because of this that the battle of Kurukshetra became inevitable. Vidura is a pure devotee of Krishna. He knows Krishna is the supreme absolute truth, the personality of Godhead, Parabrahman, the supreme Brahman. By his will, everything within the cosmic manifestation, all universes, all species of life, everything is created simply by the will of God. And by his will, everything is annihilated. And by his mercy alone could anything survive and be maintained. And beyond this material world where destruction and death are inevitable by the power of time, is the all-pervading Brahman, the eternal light, which is the radiance of the effulgence of the Supreme Lord. And beyond Brahman is the Vaikunthas, the spiritual planets, where everything is Satchit Ananda, eternal, full of knowledge, full of bliss, where the highest revelations of eternal truth are forever manifested in the Leela, or the pastimes of love between the Supreme Lord and the devotees of the Lord. And of all the Vaikunthas, there is Goloka, the abode of Sri Radha Gopinath, where the fullest, most complete, confidential, intimate pastimes of love are taking place. In Shantaras, Dasyaras, Sakyaras, Vatsalyaras, and Madhuryaras. Vidura knows these things. It is this Krishna, the source of Narayan, whose expansion is Mahavishnu, Garbhodakshai Vishnu, whose expansion is the Paramatma, the all-knowing Lord within everyone's heart. He's taking the role of the messenger of Yudhishthira Maharaj. Later on, he takes the role of the charioteer of Arjuna. Yudhishthira Maharaj is instructing Krishna. If anybody could create this basic ideal of morality and convince Dhritarashtra, it's Krishna. But due to the influence of Duryodhana, they tried to arrest Krishna. And Krishna manifested a universal form so that they couldn't go near him, actually. And even that did not change their mind. This is the power of envy. And this is gives us a glimpse of the understanding of what free will means. Even Krishna showing a Virat Rupa, a universal form before Duryodhana. Dhritarashtra couldn't see it with his eyes, but he could feel it. Still, they thought they were right. And now Vidura, he understands, it's my last chance of helping my brother. For most of us, after years of seeing such cruelty and dishonesty and manipulation, he would have left that place. But Vidura was so, he wasn't just dutiful, he was merciful. This was an extension of his love for Krishna. He had no material attachments to being there. But he stayed because he loved his brother Dhritarashtra, and he loved his nephews, the Kurus, and he loved the Pandavas. He wanted to see so he went to Dhritarashtra. Duryodhana was present. Vidura was fearless. He said, you are keeping your son, who is offense personified, who's the very embodiment of envy, of Krishna's dear devotees, the Pandavas, who embody Dharma. And their best friend and well-wisher is Krishna, the supreme controller of all controllers. Do not you see? What will be the destiny of our whole dynasty if we fight against those who are being protected intimately by Krishna? Give up this influence of your son Duryodhana. Dhritarashtra was silent. Duryodhana, like a venomous snake that was just trampled upon, became overwhelmed with anger. He shouted at his well-wishing uncle, Vidura. First he insulted him by calling him the son of a kept mistress. Then he accused him of being a spy on the side of their enemies. And he accused him of going against the very people, meaning him, his father, who have fed him and provided everything for him throughout his life. He called them low class, ungrateful, and a cheater. Then he shouted that you get out of this place, and the only thing we will allow you to take with you is your breath. Now Dhritarashtra knew that Vidura was his very best well-wisher in this world. But under the influence of Duryodhana, Dhritarashtra said nothing. He allowed Duryodhana, who was like a king himself, He allowed his wrath to prevail. And Sukadeva Goswami tells that the words of Duryodhana were like piercing arrows that entered the ears of Vidura and into the core of his heart. That means he was not like an impersonalist person who was indifferent to it. As a Paramhamsa, great Vaishnava, he had the human quality. What was his transcendence? What was his pure devotion? The same idea is, what is the difficulty? Yes, he was pierced. Yes, he was being betrayed. Yes, the person he loved and he was trying to help was trying to destroy him. And his own brother was just allowing it to be. He could have said something. He said nothing. Vidura understood this very painful situation to be an opportunity to go on pilgrimage, to be relieved of this dharma of dealing with all of this complexities in politics and envy. He placed his bow at the doorway, and all alone, he left his family, he left his wealth, he left every comfort possible, and just entered the forest and traveled. You know, we went on a yatra for about 10 days. He went on a yatra for years and years and years, alone. He traveled to various holy places. He traveled up Ayodhya, Mathura, Dwarka. Srila Prabhupada gives those names. He went into the forests, just holy place and holy place, totally absorbed in remembering Krishna, chanting Krishna's holy names. And whenever possible, he would meet holy people. Of course, we understand from the scriptures, Vidura didn't have to do that. He's actually Yamaraj. Is Yamaraj answerable to anybody except Narayan? Yamaraj has whole armies of Yamadutas ready to do anything he says. Yet that Yamaraj, he was cursed to take birth in a low family. And he became Vidura. And he took it as a great opportunity. He's in a situation of a lot of difficult dharmas. And as Vidura, he's the personification of forgiveness, compassion, tolerance, and love for Krishna. When he reached Prabhas Chaitra, he heard the story of the Battle of Kurukshetra, which took place, and what the results were. The entire Kurupa dynasty was annihilated. And practically only the Pandavas and a few others survived out of millions and millions of people. So shocking. And Krishna had already left the world. And the entire Yadu dynasty had their pastime of leaving this world. And yet Vidura is just alone, wandering around from holy place to holy place. And he came to the bank of Yamuna. And here he meets Uddhava. Uddhava is the very best, most confidential friend of Krishna from Mathura and Dwarka. We read about the conch shells in Bhagavad Gita. This was in honor to respect all the devotees. Of course, if he would have blown it more loudly, it would have woke a lot of you up. And Uddhava was Krishna's age, so that makes Vidura his uncle. Uddhava was Krishna's cousin brother. Uddhava bowed down to Vidura. And Vidura lifted him up and embraced him. And they sat along the Yamuna River, and Vidura is asking Uddhava about Krishna and Vasudeva and Devaki and all the devotees of Krishna and all the relatives of the Yadu dynasty and about the Pandavas, everything. And it's very interesting because Srila Prabhupada writes in a purport that Vidura had already heard news, but it was so shocking to him. He said, Vidura asking about the welfare of all these people was psychological, not practical. Those are Srila Prabhupada's words. Because in many ways, bhakti is psychological. Of course, Prabhupada wanted us to be practical in our service, but now we're talking about the bhava, the loving emotions within his heart. And here, Uddhava, upon hearing these questions, asking all about Krishna and Krishna's beloved devotees and relatives, Uddhava enters into a state of ecstatic silence. And what was within those moments of silence, of remembrance of Krishna? Uddhava was such a dear, confidential friend of Krishna. They ate together. They sometimes rested next to each other. Krishna would consult Uddhava about various difficulties that were going on in the world. They would reveal their hearts to each other as best of friends. In Mathura, one day, Krishna held Uddhava's hand and requested him to go to Vrindavan to send a message to the residents of Vrindavan. Since I have left Vrindavan, they have not heard anything from me. Go to my parents, go to the Brijavasis, and give them pleasure. And then Krishna, with great emotion, he told Uddhava that the gopis, they have surrendered everything of their life to serve me with unmotivated, uninterrupted love. They were not only willing to risk being ostracized socially, they were willing to jeopardize even their destiny in the next life by doing what's socially not acceptable. They're always engrossed in remembering me with such pure love. They cannot live unless I sustain them. They are completely dependent upon me. And now they are feeling such depths of separation. Go and give them encouragement through my message. Krishna chose Uddhava because Uddhava was so well known as Krishna's most confidential associate in Mathura that if he delivers the message, it will have the most potency. So Uddhava gets on chariot and starts riding to Vrindavan and arrives around sunset. The cows are being milked, and he sees the beauty and glory of Vrindavan Dham, and goes to the house of Nanda and Yashoda. And Nanda Maharaj welcomes him, gives him nice, sweet words, offers him prasadam, offers him a place to rest. And after serving Uddhava in such wonderful ways, with such hospitality, he's asking about Krishna. The last time Nanda Maharaj met Krishna, or was with Krishna, was when Krishna killed Kamsa and Chanura and Mustika, the professional wrestlers. He was there when Krishna broke that mighty bow in the arena. And Nanda Maharaj had to return home under Krishna's order without him. So Nanda Maharaj is expressing his great love for Krishna and how he's missing Krishna. Does Krishna ever remember us? And Uddhava sees Yashoda Mai incessant rivers of tears are flooding from her eyes. Krishna's grown up living in Mathura, yet Yashoda Mai, her motherly love is so transcendental that the milk from her breasts were so profuse they were soaking her clothes, and the tears were soaking her clothes. And she couldn't even open her eyes. She couldn't say a single word. She didn't say anything, she didn't ask any questions. But Uddhava could see the nature of her motherly love. And the next morning, when the gopis saw the chariot, it is said, actually, that night, Uddhava was telling Nanda Maharaj that you and Yashoda are the most fortunate. Uddhava, after Krishna, was probably the most learned person in the world. He was a direct disciple and student of Brihaspati. Was trained philosophically, logically, in scriptures and logic. He was explaining to Nanda and Yashoda that Krishna is Narayan. He's the absolute truth. He's everywhere. You can never be apart from him. He's within everything. He's outside of everything. Everything is his energies. He's conscious of everyone. And the message he sent me to give you is he will soon return. Krishna told Uddhava before that journey that the only reason the gopis are alive is because I promised them I would return. And because I promised them I would return, they're just waiting to serve me, waiting to please me. Years have passed. With my message, give them comfort. So the next day, the gopis, understanding that Uddhava had come with a message, they brought him to a secluded place and began inquiring about Krishna and revealing their transcendental, pure, and supreme love. And there is that historic conversation where Srimati Radharani is talking to a bee. Thinking that bee to be a messenger of Krishna, which actually Uddhava was the messenger. And she was chastising the bee and revealing such a state of love. When Uddhava saw the nature of the love of the Brijabasis, which culminates in the love of gopis, which culminates in the love of Sri Radha, he realized that these gopis are so simple. Uddhava understood Krishna not only as a best friend, but also philosophically, with knowledge of all Vedic truths, that he's the supreme truth himself. He's Brahman, he's Paramatma, he's Bhagavan. Uddhava was a constant companion in the direct association of Krishna. most learned scholar. Even Krishna would consult him like a teacher. And yet, Uddhava, seeing the spontaneous simplicity of the gopis' love, they didn't appear to be scholars. He was a royal prince. They were just cleaning houses and milking cows, making garlands. But he realized by Krishna's grace they were infinitely more spiritually advanced than him. And he had no material desires. He was beyond liberation. He was Krishna's best friend in pure, unmotivated, uninterrupted love. But yet he's seeing gopis in this light. And there in Vrindavan, he actually wanted to surrender to the gopis and take dust from their lotus feet. But he didn't want to displease them, because they're simple cowherd girls and he's a royal Yadu prince. So out of respect for gopis, supreme exalted position, he prays to be a blade of grass in Vrindavan, near Govardhan, with the hope that the gopis may step upon him with their feet. And if he gets the dust of their feet, that association, he would have the opportunity to serve them. It's not that Uddhava was praying to become a gopi. Some of us, we want to be gopis. And what is our realization? And what is our egos? What is our material attachments? Uddhava wasn't praying to be a gopi. He was praying to honor and serve the gopis as a piece of grass under their feet, so that he could actually serve them. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he prayed Gopi Bhartur Padakamalayur Dasa Dasa Dasanurdas. He's Krishna in the mood of Sri Radha, teaching us how to love, how to please Krishna. When we just want to love Krishna, that is a state of consciousness. But a higher level of consciousness is to want to please Krishna. That means it's not, Krishna's only pleased by love. So we only want to love Krishna so that we can give him more pleasure. We don't want to love Krishna because that's the highest ecstasy for us. We want to love Krishna because according to our love, we could give higher ecstasy to Krishna. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was teaching us higher than even that. Is want to give pleasure to the servants of the servants of the servants of Krishna, because that pleases Krishna even more than serving him directly. And what serves is our love. So on the path of bhakti, we're striving for love of Krishna because that's the best way to please Krishna. And there is a whole science Gopi Partur Padakamalayora Das Das Anu Das. I want to be the servant of the servant of the servant of Lord of Gopis. And Uddhava, he completely realized this. Not only in sentiment, but he actually became a blade of grass. He's still there. Near the Uddhava Kund and Kusum Sarovar of Govardhan. Seeing the gopis' love, he was completely transformed. He considered all his knowledge was absolutely insignificant compared to the simplicity of the pure surrender of the gopis. And he told gopis, Krishna will come. He was trying to pacify him, but he realized there's nothing I can do to pacify him. And he became their student in his heart. And when he returned to Krishna, he realized and expressed in Mathura that you sent me there to learn from gopis. I was thinking I was going to teach them something, but I became their student. And he lived in Mathura with Krishna, with this understanding, with this realization, with this mahabhava, with this bhava. And then they moved to Dwarka. And for so many long years, he was Krishna's best friend. And everyone in Dwarka, everyone recognized him as such. And when Krishna was when he had decided to perform his leela of disappearing from this world, Uddhava understood what was going to happen. And he came to Krishna. And Krishna spoke the Uddhava Gita. Most of the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam is Krishna's teachings to Uddhava. It's interesting, the Bhagavad Gita was spoken to Arjuna, who was Krishna's cousin brother. At a time when Arjuna was in total desperation. Between the two armies of Kurus and Pandavas, he saw what was about to happen. It was breaking his heart. And he was so confused. What am I supposed to do? I can't be part of this. And Arjuna, with tears, practically paralyzed, in a state of despondency, inquired from Krishna, and Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita to him. Here, what is Uddhava's condition? He understands Krishna's going to leave the world. The whole Yadu dynasty, all his relatives, everything finished. Bhagavad Gita and Uddhava Gita were in the most difficult times. But from Krishna's perspective, what is the difficulty? Bhagavad Gita culminates sarva dharman parityasya. Just surrender to me. This word just is a... Not like, as the supreme absolute truth, I order you to surrender to me. Krishna says, just surrender to me. I will relieve you of all reactions, of all sins. Do not fear. How could you not fear when you're about to be in a situation where he had to fight his grandfather and his teacher and so many things and see so many people die? And here Krishna's telling Uddhava, the Yadu dynasty, all your friends, all your relatives are finished. I'm going to leave the world, but I want you to stay. What is the difficulty? And Krishna spoke Uddhava Gita and described the real spirit of renunciation, the real spirit of the deepest, highest knowledge, which culminates in pure, unmotivated, uninterrupted, ecstatic love and service. When we actually, by the mercy of Krishna, we begin to understand the glory of prema bhakti, then na janam na sundarim kavitam va jagadisha kamaye mama janmanishwari bhavatad bhakti rohita kitvai. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It's just the fourth verse of Shikshastakam, leading to the higher realms of bhakti. We don't want what the karma kandis are desiring, or the karma yogis. Elevation to the higher planets, or great prosperity and happiness in this material world. We do not even want liberation, the cessation of all sufferings, freedom from death, freedom from old age and disease. We don't even want to have this experience of becoming God or having great supernatural powers. Lord Chaitanya prays, I don't want any of those things. Whatever birth you want to put me, let me serve you and please you. When we understand what prema bhakti is, even if we're not on that platform, we don't become distracted by all of these other things. So when Krishna is teaching Uddhava, the Uddhava Gita, which is many extraordinary chapters of Krishna's words to his most confidential, intimate, loving associate, speaking to the whole world through in those teachings. Uddhava has already experienced seeing the love of Nanda Maharaj, worshiping the love of Yashoda Mai, exchanging with the love of the cowherd boys, Sridama and Subala. And actually experienced the gopis pouring out the innermost confidential love of their heart. And seeing Srimati Radharani in that highest stage of love. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna with the Mahabhav of Sri Radha. Radha Bhavaduti Subalitam Nomi Krishna Swarupa. And many times in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in Gambhira with his most confidential associates, Ramananda Rai, Swarup Damodar, who are Lalita Saki and Vishaka Saki, and he's in this viraha bhava, love of separation, the highest revelation of the highest love of the highest lover, Srimati Radharani. It is described that Lord Chaitanya was in the Mahabhav mood of Srimati Radharani when she was in the forest speaking to Uddhava, in the presence of Uddhava. This is what Uddhava witnessed. And now Krishna is speaking Uddhava Gita to him. And he told Uddhava, you have to stay in this world. I'm going. Everyone else is going to. You go to Badrikashram and tell the great sages all these stories. And then Krishna leaves. And Uddhava's walking. For the gopis, Krishna was in another city. He was in Mathura. And this was their love and separation, viraha. For Uddhava, who's a student of gopis, Krishna wasn't just in another city. He left the world. He disappeared. What was his state of viraha? So when Vidura is, Vidura is like the age of Uddhava's father. He's inquiring from Uddhava. And Uddhava, remembering Krishna, he entered into a state of silence for just some moments. And when Vidura saw his condition, he understood this is the highest levels of ecstatic love and of Krishna. And then Uddhava, what is that beautiful verse? Uddhava said, my dear Vidura, the sun of the world, Lord Krishna, has set. And our house has now been swallowed by the great snake of time. What can I say to you about our welfare? The universe, this universe and all of its planets is most unfortunate. And even more unfortunate are the members of the Yadu dynasty, because they could not identify Lord Hari as the Supreme Personality of Godhead any more than a fish could identify the moon. And then Uddhava begins to remember Krishna, his relationship with Krishna, Krishna's pastimes in Dwarka and Mathura, Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan. And in remembering Krishna's words and Krishna's teachings and Krishna's Leela with devotees, not just what he had seen, but what he had heard, he fully experienced the presence of Krishna. And previous to this in Srimad Bhagavatam, when Yudhisthira Maharaj sees Arjuna coming back from Dwarka, and Arjuna tells Yudhisthira, Krishna has left the world. Arjuna was completely, totally bereft. But when he began to remember Krishna in separation, he became fully enlivened to experience Krishna's presence. Our beloved founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada, it is this that he has given us. He's not just giving us a yoga practice. He's not just giving us knowledge of the truth. He's not only giving us pure bhakti, he's given us this revelation. As we appreciate the value of it, even if we're so far away from it, we can receive this gift. And the association of devotees is the method by which Krishna gives us to become absorbed in remembering Krishna. Arjuna is revived by remembering Krishna in the presence of Yudhisthira Maharaj. Uddhava is revived by remembering Krishna in the presence of Vidura. To get back to today's verse. Uddhava thus served the Lord continually from childhood, and in his old age that attitude of service never slackened. As soon as he was asked about the message of the Lord, he at once remembered all about him. And Srila Prabhupada is describing how in the material world we kind of get tired of everything and we retire. I think that word retire is quite revealing. It's like chewing the chewed. Puna punas charvata charvatanam. We try to enjoy and then we try to enjoy it again, and birth after birth after birth. We're basically enjoying the same material experiences, whether we're insects or reptiles or birds or animals or whatever it may be, eating, sleeping, mating, defending. And as human beings, we try to enjoy it by putting sophistication and all kinds of psychological, psychiatric importance to it. But it's all temporary and it's all insufficient. But still, because we don't have something higher to aspire for, we keep chewing that which has already been chewed. And we get tired of it. So in the material world, when you get tired of something, kind of bored with it, and take it for granted and all that, then we try to repackage it. The substance is no different. We're just trying to keep repackaging things and reinterpreting the same thing to somehow or other find some meaning and enjoyment to it. But as we grow older in this life, we're tired, and then we retire. Yeah. Srila Prabhupada says, generally in old age a person is allowed retirement from mundane service. But in the transcendental service of the Lord, there is no retirement at all. On the contrary, and this is important, the service attitude increases more and more with the progress of age. It doesn't mean our body is not affected by material existence. It doesn't mean our mind is not as sharp as, or is as sharp as it was when we were young. But our service attitude never tires. Our desire to serve. When Srila Prabhupada was in Vrindavan in 1977, laying on his bed, and he was performing his disappearing pastime. It's not that his body was in a condition to travel around the world. His body was the way it was. It's the nature of time. But still, he used to hold the dictaphone. When I was in his room, Vishaka Saki was showing me dictaphones and all this Srila Prabhupada's personal paraphernalia. Now someone was holding the dictaphone to his mouth. But his attitude to serve was ever increasing. So we shouldn't be discouraged by our bodily situations that I can't do what I used to do. Our service attitude never retires. Whatever we can do, we always want to do more. Ever increasing. We're always trying to do more. And in a humble spirit, yes, we're under the laws of time, physically. But the spirit of a devotee's desire to love Krishna is beyond time. The nature of the soul is nahanyate hanyamane siddhide. It's forever. Earlier this year, His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj was taken from our physical presence by Srila Prabhupada's will. Such an example he will forever be of one who never retired. And of course, by Srila Prabhupada's mercy, we still have in our presence His Holiness Srila Jaipatak Swami Maharaj. And these two personalities, their desire to serve, their attitude to serve, nothing could. What is the difficulty? Srila Jaipatak Maharaj had the most dangerous, devastating stroke that a human being could have. And he had so many, he had organ transplants, and we all, many of us were with him at the yatra in Sri Mayapur Dham, and he can't physically, dance and play the wampers the way he used to. But his desire to serve, his attitude to be servant of the servant and please Krishna and glorify Krishna and Srila Prabhupada is ever increasing. Nothing could stop him. And Srila Gopal Krishna Goswami, he was the first person of Indian origin to take initiation from Srila Prabhupada. to surrender to Srila Prabhupada. He met Srila Prabhupada in a bowling alley that was converted into a temple in Montreal. He had bachelor's degree, had master's degree, McGill University, Paris. He was very learned. He was working for one of the most successful international corporations on the planet in a managerial role. And yet, upon seeing Srila Prabhupada's authentic love for Krishna and his knowledge of the highest truths in his presentation, Gopal Krishna Maharaj just wanted to serve those who were assisting Srila Prabhupada. People who were younger than him, less educated, who had no income. He was bowing down to them and serving them. Why? Because that's how he honored Srila Prabhupada. It's not a very high level to honor a great soul. It's a higher level to honor those who are striving to honor a great soul, to appreciate that. And he became one of the inner core, intimate associates of Srila Prabhupada. And Pradyumna Prabhu in New York, who was there as Srila Prabhupada's assistant, he was telling from the beginning, Srila Prabhupada had a very special relationship with Srila Gopal Krishna Goswami. He would consult him on things he didn't talk about with other devotees, because Gopal Krishna Maharaj, had that culture and expertise. And he would ask Gopal Krishna Maharaj to resolve difficulties that many others just didn't know how to do. And when Srila Prabhupada came back to India and began establishing his movement here, it was still in a very primitive state of expansion. He requested Srila Gopal Krishna Goswami. He was then not a Goswami. He requested him to come to India to be the GBC for the entire country. And at that time, the book distribution in India was very small. The main preaching in India was life membership to a large extent. And Srila Prabhupada was trying to establish temples here. He put so much effort in Radha Ras Bihari Temple, and Krishna Balaram Temple in Vrindavan. Shruti Kirti Prabhu was always reminding us that next year is the 50th anniversary of the installation of Krishna Balaram. Radha Sham Sundar Gornitai. So what Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, he saw Srila Prabhupada, actually Prabhupada instructed him to expand book distribution and to publish more books and translate more books into different languages. And he took that as his life, his soul, and never retired. Yes, Prabhupada wanted book distribution so dearly. It was such an intimate, loving servant. Srila Gopal Krishna Goswami, under his direction, enthusiasm, and inspiration, more books were distributed than anywhere else in the history of the Vaishnava world, what to speak of ISKCON. He saw how Prabhupada loved temples being built. He built more temples than anyone else ever did. He saw how Prabhupada loved when people are coming to Krishna consciousness. He brought tens and thousands, hundreds and thousands of people to Krishna consciousness. In the early 70s, Srila Prabhupada sent him behind the Iron Curtain to distribute books in Russia. He was one of the first, after Mandakini Devi, I think he was one of the first to go there. And the amazing thing, even when he was very old age, and he had heart difficulties, and even when he could barely talk because of his body, age and diseases, still, he was going to Russia to preach. Still, just a day or two before he left this world, he did a Bhumi Puja for a new temple in Dehradun. He was the senior most person in our GBC body. He was still serving. He was the chairman of the bureau to his last breath. And I remember last year, we were in Pune at the beginning of the book marathon, and Srila Gopal Krishna Goswami was there. And there was a Mahasatsang program. How many people were there?
Around 6,000.
Around 6,000 devotees came. And I remember it was advertised that we were both, Gopal Krishna Goswami was going to speak and I was going to speak. So we were walking toward the pandal, or the stage, together. And Gopal Krishna Maharaj, he was walking so slow. And he could only speak with a very, very tiny whisper. And he said to me, "I'm feeling very ill today. I won't be able to speak. You speak." And I said, "You just speak whatever you can first, and then I'll say something after you." He said, No, I can't speak. I'm too weak, and you speak." I said, "Yeah, after you." And two devotees had to help him go up the steps to the stage. And he sat down. And how long did he speak for?
Almost 50 minutes. In 50 minutes, almost 1 hour.
50. He spoke for 1 hour. And he was telling so many leelas. But the main emphasis of his speech was book distribution, because it was the beginning of the book distribution marathon. And how many books did he instruct everyone to distribute in that month?
7 lakhs. 7 lakhs.
And what did you do the year before?
6 lakhs.
Okay. Now, many of the leaders of Pune are Gopal Krishna Goswami's disciples, and many of the leaders of Pune are from Radha Gopinath temple. Now, because of his great passion to serve and please Srila Prabhupada and transform this troubled world, he inspired people the year before last in Pune, 600,000 of Srila Prabhupada's books to be distributed in 1 month of December. Huh?
1 year.
1 year. What was for the month? I'm trying to, what he was speaking at the Pandava. Huh? Okay, well, 1 year. What they had to do that was impossible. And then he comes and he shocked everybody by saying that now I want this year 700,000. Yes, and how many for the month? 400,000 books in 1 month. And when he was saying it, I could see the devotees in Pune. They were like, on one level I could see in their eyes, we can't do it. This is impossible. This is so hypothetical and theoretical. But while they were feeling like that, they were all cheering, Jai, Jai. Just to make them happy. We were all witnessing just such an absolute transformation. His desire infused everyone's hearts. And how many to distribute in December of last year? They did over 400,000 books. And distributed over 700,000 books for the year. Now, how is that possible? What is the difficulty? Huh?
I should have brought some of my books.
Yeah, you should have actually. Srila Prabhupada talked about prasadam distribution, and Srila Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, more than anyone in our history, distributed more plates of prasadam on every level. And he was ever just increasing everything, even when physically he could hardly walk, he could hardly talk. He never retired. What Srila Prabhupada is speaking about in this purport, he personified that. And I could see that the devotees in Pune, what to speak of, in Delhi and at Juhu, Radhanath Swami Temple, so much every year, massive, whatever they're doing, trying to please him. And he was so important in all of our lives. What he has done in Mayapur Dham, what he has done in Vrindavan Dham, and in Delhi, and in Russia, and in Canada, and in America, and in Europe, and here in Mumbai, in India. So today's class is just an introduction to my appeal. Srila Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, we're feeling separation from him very deeply. His presence is still very much in the hearts of those who try to love Him and serve Him. But this year is the only year in the history of this world where the book distribution marathon is in the year of His departure from this world. In gratitude to Him, in honor of Him, it is my sincere request that Sri Radha Gopinath Temple and all of our satellites, that we put everything we have possible to fulfill His wish and distribute more books than we ever did before. I cannot think of any way that we can honor Him more than if we make this offering in His name, in the name of Srila Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj and his love for Srila Prabhupada. We are dedicating this December book distribution marathon and our appeal, because what I saw in Pune was, and actually everywhere he goes, was like, seemed impossible. But devotees just mobilized everything and everyone and exceeded his request. So let us offer our gratitude and our honor to this very confidential, loving servant of Srila Prabhupada by taking this sankalpa today to do everything we can to distribute Srila Prabhupada's books during this month. In his honor, more than we ever did before, we should strive to do. I see in your eyes the same thing I saw in Pune. But in honor of Gopal Krishna Goswami, let us all say Hari Bol. And we would like Shrutikirti Prabhu to say some words, and Dinatarani Devi to say some words, and then after that, Baladev Prabhu is going to give some direction and instruction to our devotional service in this way. And then afterward, His Grace Gauranga Prabhu is going to read a letter from the chairman of GBC in regard to offering our kirtan today and our japa in our hearts for the well-being of the many devotees who are really suffering in Bangladesh at this time. So Shrutikirti Prabhu, please. What is the difficulty?
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pachani Nirvisesa Sanyavari Paskachade Satarani. I can take a few minutes. Once a devotee asked me, he said, did Prabhupada prepare to give class? I thought it was a very funny question. Every word Prabhupada spoke was a class. So many of his words turned into books. When I became his servant, one of the first things Shyamasundar, his secretary, said to me was, "Do you know how to use a tape recorder?" And of course I said, yes. He said, well, when Prabhupada speaks, record it. As I traveled around with Srila Prabhupada, always had his dictaphone machine. He had his Sanskrit editor, Pradyumna. He had his secretary, Shyamasundar, who was responsible for seeing that everything was transcribed. And he had his servant, who my business was to see that things were recorded. This is what he did everywhere he went, every temple he went. He had so many disciples. We know he opened temples, installed deities. But as time went on, I saw more and more. The temples, everything that was there, they were book warehouses. They were all places to distribute books from. This is, as the years went on, more and more, Prabhupada set everything up for the distribution of his books. In September '73, it was just a few months before, I think, Bhagavad Gita as it is, the unabridged edition came out. And while Prabhupada was at Bhaktivedanta Manor, in the evening he had his darshans. Shyamasundar arranged for so many big people to come. Even George Harrison came, other big rock stars came, race car drivers came, politicians came, so many big people, and Prabhupada would speak to them. And many times he would quote from the Bhagavad Gita as it is. And he would just quote one line, and then he would look at his servant, Sruta Kirti, and he would say, find that verse. And he did that for many reasons. One of the main reasons was the index was in the back of the Bhagavad Gita. And to Prabhupada, this was very, very important, very special. So very often he would say, just like the lawyers, we quote from previous cases in this way. He said, these books, it was one of two times that are noted. Once was with Rameshwar Prabhu, the other was here, when he said, these books are the law books. And he would say that every night. These are the law books. And then the one night, of course, he said, these are the law books for the next 10,000 years. So Prabhupada, as he traveled to every temple, he was every night, at least every night, 2, 3, 4 hours very early in the morning, sometimes all day long. When he was in Hawaii, he would be translating all through the day. Once in Calcutta, we went to Calcutta. Many of you have been there. Srila Prabhupada's room had the French doors and then the veranda. And we arrived there, and Prabhupada went into his room, and then he rang the bell. It was as close as I ever was to Prabhupada's sitting room, literally 3 meters away, 2, 3 meters away. But as soon as we got there, he rang the bell. I went in the room, offered obeisances, and he looked at me. He said, does your nose work? I said, what? He said, your nose, does your nose work? Do you snore? I said, oh no, bro, I don't think so. He said, okay, then you lie in front of those doors. Whenever I'm resting, doors are closed, you lie in front of the doors so that no one can come in. I said, yes, Prabhupada. But the main reason was because he was translating. And if there was any disturbance, it would make it more difficult to do this translating work. Any noise. If he heard a noise, he would send us. I hear a drip. It could be 3 buildings away. You had to find it. he could hear a fan when he was in his room, Krishna Balaram. He heard a fan from the guest house. I hear a fan, he would say. But once he called me in, and there were mosquitoes, always mosquitoes. And it was 1 in the morning, and he rang the bell, and I went in. He was sitting in the middle of the room. He wasn't sitting on his asana. He was in the middle of the room. And he said, "The mosquitoes have dethroned me." But he said, "I can't translate." So then we arranged for a mosquito net. These books of Prabhupada, more important than anything else that he's done. I mean, I was going to end, of course, the story I've told many, many times. He was reading his books every day, every afternoon. I can say every afternoon, if I was going around putting things away, cleaning, he'd be in there. The afternoon was his bhajan time. He would literally chant, play harmonium, chant japa, and read his books. And he didn't have a legal pad, wasn't looking for errors or anything. He was relishing so much. So after a few months, I'm with him. In the afternoon, he rang the bell. And I went into his room, and he's sitting behind his desk. He has his glasses on, and he's reading Bhagavad Gita, as it is. And I offered obeisances, and he just looked at me. He said, "This book is so wonderful." He said, "If you just read this book, you can become Krishna conscious." He said, "You don't have to read hundreds of books." He said, "Just this book, everything is there." He said, "You read and understand, you can become Krishna conscious." And he put his head back down and continued reading. He never said, "Come in and go." You had to read the signals he gave you. So he started reading. I offered obeisances and left the room. So 6 months go by. We're in a temple. And it's the afternoon. And again, he rings the bell. So many times in a day, he would ring the bell. But he rings the bell, I go in, offer obeisances, and he's reading Nectar of Devotion. He has his glasses, reading glasses on. I offer obeisances and sit up. This Nectar of Devotion is so nice. If you just read this one book, you can become Krishna conscious. You don't have to read hundreds of books. He said, everything is here. He said, if you read it, you'll understand. You can be Krishna conscious. And again, he put his head down and started reading. I offered obeisances and left. So many months go by again. We were in Juhu, in the flat on the 2nd floor. He rang the bell and go into the room. Offer obeisances, he's reading Krishna book. This Krishna book, he said, is so nice. He said, is so sweet. He said, if you just read this one book, you can become Krishna conscious. He said, you don't have to read every time. Because he's trying to get through this head, telling me, read my books. And he's looking at me. He didn't put his head down again. He just kept looking at me. You don't even have to read the whole book. If you read one chapter in this book, he's holding his Krishna book. If you read one chapter, he said, of this book, you can become Krishna conscious. And he's staring at me. I'm sure he's thinking, this person, he's a disaster. What am I going to do? You don't even have to read the whole chapter, he said. If you just read one page, and he's going up and down the page. One page, he said, if you read one page in this book, you can become Krishna conscious. But he didn't put his head down. He's staring at me. You don't even have to read the whole page, he said. If you read one line, he went across the line. If you read one line in this Krishna book, he said, you can become Krishna conscious. No, he wasn't done yet. He's looking at me. You don't even have to read the whole line, he said. If you read one word, he went, put one word in this book. He said, you can become Krishna conscious. Because Krishna's in every word. So, these books were not just meant for his disciples or his grand disciple. These books, he said, are for the next 10,000 years. All of us are here because of Srila Prabhupada's books. Maybe directly you got a book, or you heard from someone, became a devotee. We're all here because of Srila Prabhupada's books. And I was just thinking, I heard yesterday, someone told me, you have about 10,000 disciples, more or less. And I was thinking, there's 31 days in December. Imagine if each of your disciples, 3 books a day, 10 lakhs of books you could distribute in 1 month. 10 lakhs of books. It's just... Is my math correct? I think it's correct. Every one of it took...
You are speaking Gaudiya math.
So yes, somehow or other, it all depends on Prabhupada's followers. It's what he emphasized all the time. I could tell you so many, how Rameshwar Prabhu became the head of the BBT, just because of the desire he had. He would write everybody's name and how many books they distributed. He did this every day for a week when Prabhupada was in Los Angeles. And he would give it to me in the evening, and I would run up and give it to Prabhupada, and he would look at it. Sometimes he wrote a little note. And after some days, he said, who is this? Rameshwar. Imagine. And that was the beginning of mass book distribution. So myself, all of us, encourage you. This is the best way. Prabhupada, we know we said, what can you say in 3 minutes? But if you give them a book, you'll change their life. Even if they never read it, you'll change their life just by giving them a book, because it's Krishna in every word. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Can I speak something about Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj?
Please speak whatever is in your pure heart.
I've been feeling his separation as well, and remembering some very wonderful exchanges with him. One time, Yamuna and I were staying in the Delhi temple, and it was December, and we noticed everywhere in the temple there were book stalls selling books everywhere. Bhagavad Gitas. It was so amazing. And the first morning we were there, we walked out into the driveway that goes straight down. And there were rows upon rows of these big trucks and they were filled from bottom to top with books, the Bhagavad Gita. When Jamuna saw that, she fell onto the road and offered obeisances, because it was just so inspiring to see how Gopal Krishna Maharaj had inspired the devotees to go out and distribute these books. It was so wonderful. So every day he would come to our room. One day he even brought a birthday cake. It was so sweet. He came to our room and he would sit and he would talk about book distribution, about how Srila Prabhupada had instructed him the importance of distributing the books, and he had taken that as his life and soul. And he would say virtually the same thing when he came back. This is Srila Prabhupada's desire, trying to fulfill his desire. And every time we would try to praise him, he would just say, no, this is my service. This is what Srila Prabhupada ordered me to do. And it was so inspiring and so wonderful. So next year, he was also GBC for Canada when we were in Sharanagati. Every year, he would come for 2 days to Sharanagati. He would sit on our porch and he would tell us, you have to leave this place. You have to come and be in Delhi and, preach there and inspire there, inspire others there. And we would always tell him why this is not going to happen. We have our program here. But he was persistent. Next year he would come, same thing, sit on the porch for 2 hours and talk about, you have to leave this place, you have to come. But he was so personal and so wonderful to us and to all the devotees. And when you were talking about him, Maharaj, I was just thinking of those exchanges and missing him, his association. What a wonderful devotee, powerful devotee, so much appreciated. So I just wanted to say a little bit about Gopal Krishna Maharaj, how much we appreciated him, and how much he was such a soldier, a warrior in his service to Srila Prabhupada to the very end. Just so inspiring to hear. Thank you for talking about him as well.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Maharaj, and thank you all Srila Prabhupada disciples for enlivening us. Let us thank all of them by 3 times loudly chanting, Hari Bol! Hare Krishna. So, today is Sunday, right? So exactly on Thursday morning, 7 a.m., when Radhanath Maharaj was going from temple hall towards his room, he just called me inside his room and he said, I want to speak something on the book distribution. So there was a meeting planned for Maharaj at 7:15 a.m. in the conference room. And are you all with me? So then we, myself, Mukund Mala Prabhu and Tarun Gaurang Prabhu went and met Maharaj. So Maharaj said exactly what he said today about how we should honor in separation of Gopal Krishna Maharaj, do something fitting as a gratitude to Maharaj, and we should do something which we have never done before. We should increase our marathon scores. And Then Gaurang Prabhu was also there. So Gaurang Prabhu asked me, what is the target for this year? So I said, 1,50,000. Then Maharaj saw me and said, Gopal Krishna Maharaj used to remind us of Prabhupada and he used to say us, double it. So double of 1,50,000 is how much? So just like now you are staring at me, I was also staring at him. So then Maharaj mentioned to me that we should come first in the world. I remember many years back, around 15 years back, His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj had invited Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj to inaugurate our December marathon. That time our temple work was going on, so we had this Sunday feast in Babulnath temple. And Gopal Krishna Maharaj gave a very beautiful, encouraging class. And that year in marathon, ISKCON Chowpatty came first in the world. So when I heard this time that we have to come first in the world, so I remembered that, and I said, why? Well, it's, and Maharaj again saying, what's the difficulty, right? So, Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, he was in Delhi initial days, and there were hardly any books, and Maharaj mentioned that Prabhupada told him to print books and then distribute them. So those days in 1970s were hardly any books in India, to now this scenario in 2024 when India BBT is the largest BBT, printing books in all languages, and thousands, not thousands, millions of books are distributed in India. So all this contribution goes to Gopal Krishna Maharaj for this wonderful vision, trying to fulfill Prabhupada's dreams. So after that, after I left the room, and then we were discussing in the book distribution team what we should do, because now it's a very big target, 3 lakh or more. So you'll be happy to know that whenever we decide something in this community, with Radhanath Maharaj inspiring us, it is not an impossible thing. We have done many major revolutionary things. So I just want to give a glimpse of what happened last 3 days after that wonderful desire of Radhanath Maharaj to serve Srila Gopal Krishna Maharaj in that way. So when I went to, I was traveling to Baramati for book distribution there. So we had a talk, a class in Baramati, and I just informed all the devotees in Baramati that today morning we got this beautiful idea from Radhanath Swami Maharaj. So we want all the devotees in Baramati to also help, because Maharaj told us that we should also announce in satellite centers. So all the devotees in Baramati, they were very thrilled, and I asked them, how many books you have distributed since, like, what is the maximum books you have distributed marathon? He said, 2,000 books. So I said, how many now? So they're all thinking, and we came to a very magical figure of 20,000 books by Baramati devotees. So Nandadulalpu mentioned that we will try 20,000, and even if we don't get 20,000, at least 10,000 will do, which is 5 times more than what we do. And you're surprised to hear that many more centers have come forward, and they are really thrilled to do something special for His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj ki. So we hope you're all ready after Maharaj inspired us. And why just satellite centers? We have 20 satellite centers with 200, 300 devotees in each. But you'll be happy to know in Mumbai, we have 95 programs in 7 zones. Each program has around 100 to 200 people attending that program. So we have around 95 here in Mumbai, plus 20 satellite centers, which becomes how many? 105. So here we have a good chance. We all come together and do something spectacular so that we can please 3 great personalities. We will fulfill the desire of Radhanath Maharaj to serve Gopal Krishna Maharaj, to serve Srila Prabhupada. And the most important thing is, I was thinking that we're going to have this discussion. Maharaj was going to speak this. And we have with us Sarva Lakshan Prabhu here. He is one of the very, very closest disciple of Gopal Krishna Maharaj. He is instrumental in making Pune happen big. Please stand up. So we had not planned to bring him, but he came here. So this shows that we have blessings of Gopal Krishna Maharaj through Sarva Lakshan Prabhu. We also have Hansapriya Mataji. She is also Gopal Krishna Maharaj disciple. She was instrumental in helping Vaisheshika Prabhu in doing massive revolutionary book distribution in North America. So many blessings apart from Shruta Kirti Prabhu and Dinatarini Devi Mataji. So we are all blessed here. All we have to do is now move ahead and do our part. And we all do small our part, and eventually it becomes very big. We always saw in marathon, and if we do all our part, at the end of the marathon we get surprised at what we have done together. So this year is going to be a very amazing month, amazing time of marathon where we're going to think of Gopal Krishna Maharaj while distributing books to please him. And as Gopal Krishna Maharaj said, double it. So we're going to double our scores here and please all the Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. We have many wonderful strategies here. We have Mukund Mala Prabhu, our book distribution in charge of Radha Gopinath Temple. He will update us some 2 minutes about the various schemes. One important scheme which I would like to also encourage all of you to help us in, that this coming year in January, there is Maha Kumbh Mela. You have been hearing about this. It's like very, very special. We have lakhs and lakhs, millions of people going to come there. And just recently, just a month back, ISKCON India's book distribution meeting was there. All temples had come. And they expressed a desire that to fulfill and to please Gopal Krishna Maharaj, everyone is going to increase their scores. So when I was a part of Chowpatty representation, I was thinking that maybe we'll increase a little bit here and there and remember Gopal Krishna Maharaj more. But now I see that we have a wonderful opportunity, inspired by our leader, that we should do it actually and we should do something special for him. So Kumbh Mela is going to be special here where we are planning to distribute Bhagavad Gita free to people who are going to come from villages all over the India. So for that, the beautiful scheme of Kumbh Mela is also here. So we can all go ahead and plan for collecting funds for so that we can distribute Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita in Kumbh Mela. So that's one of the schemes which we are going to introduce this year. Apart from that, we have a few more schemes here. And Mukund Mala Prabhu, can you update us? Yeah. We have the Gita Championship League, which we're going to start again, the GCL. Our Sankirtan bus has now shifted to Baramati, and they're going to cover that area. So those who want, few congregation devotees have also joined them. So those who want to join the Sankirtan bus can also meet me or Mukund Mala Prabhu. The railway stations are also open for us. We're going to take permission. Those who want to take put stalls in the railway stations in Mumbai, please kindly come ahead and also meet me and Mukund Mala Prabhu. We're going to have the Gita Yagya this time and the Gita recitation as well. So all these schemes are there. And so, of course, there are many schemes, but I hope that you all are inspired again. So we feel that we can really do this, and please Radhanath Swami Maharaj, Gopal Krishna Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada and all Prabhupada disciples here, I want you to really from your heart 3 times loudly chant, Hari Bol! Hari Bol! So we'll keep meeting again and again on Sundays, and those who want us to come and inspire and speak something about book distribution in their own programs, in their zones, we are open to come. Please kindly meet us after the program. Thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada Book Distribution Marathon ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj ki jai.
Hare Krishna. As His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj already gave an introduction in the context, I stand here on behalf of the GBC chairman, His Holiness Guru Prasad Swami Maharaj, who through the ISKCON communications has sent a special prayer request issued by the GBC Executive Committee on November 29th, 2024. ISKCON के GBC चेयरमैन परम पूज्य गुरु प्रसाद स्वामी महाराज की ओर से ISKCON कम्युनिकेशंस के माध्यम से एक बांग्लादेश को लेकर वक्तव्य निकला है, जिसके ऊपर हम आज आपके सामने प्रस्तुत करेंगे. It's a call for prayers for Bangladesh at all ISKCON temples. सभी ISKCON मंदिरों में बांग्लादेश के लिए प्रार्थना की सूचना. All ISKCON temples and communities around the world are called upon to organize special prayers and kirtans this Sunday, December 1st. सभी ISKCON मंदिर और समुदायों से विश्व भर में ये निवेदन किया जाता है कि इस रविवार दिसंबर 1 तारीख को विशेष प्रार्थना और कीर्तन आयोजित करें. Asking Lord Krishna to protect our devotees and all religious minorities in Bangladesh. ये प्रार्थना हम भगवान श्री कृष्ण से सभी भक्त और अल्पसंख्यक समुदाय बांग्लादेश में उनके संरक्षण के लिए. The International ISKCON Governing Body Commission Executive Committee EC under the chairmanship of Guru Prasad Swami, जो अंतर्राष्ट्रीय कृष्ण भावनामृत संघ के गवर्निंग बॉडी कमीशन के एग्जीक्यूटिव कमेटी है, जिसके चेयरमैन हैं श्री गुरु हिज होलीनेस गुरु प्रसाद स्वामी महाराज, एंड विद द सपोर्ट ऑफ द ग्लोबल कम्युनिकेशंस मिनिस्ट्री, और वैश्विक कम्युनिकेशंस मिनिस्ट्री के सपोर्ट के साथ, उनके समर्थन के साथ, is calling upon all the devotees and friends of ISKCON to join together this Sunday at ISKCON temples worldwide. ये सभी भक्त और ISKCON के जितने भी मित्र और समर्थक गण हैं इस रविवार को ISKCON मंदिरों में एकत्रित होकर to offer prayers for our fellow Vaishnavas and other minorities in Bangladesh. बांग्लादेश में हमारे जितने भी साथी वैष्णव हैं और अन्य अल्पसंख्यक हैं उनके लिए प्रार्थना करने का निवेदन कर रहे हैं. On Sunday, the day that ISKCON temples host their largest congregational functions, रविवार के दिन सामान्यतः ISKCON के मंदिरों में सप्ताह भर का सबसे बड़ा कार्यक्रम आयोजित किया जाता है. Devotees and temple leaders are asked to offer their Sunday kirtans and programs. जितने भी मंदिरों के लीडर हैं और भक्तगण हैं उनसे अपना रविवार का कीर्तन और कार्यक्रम in a call for the well-being and protection of the devotees in Bangladesh, बांग्लादेश के भक्तों के संरक्षण और अभ्युदय के लिए प्रार्थना स्वरूप समर्पित करने का निवेदन किया गया है. Temple communities are also asked to offer the following special prayer in a spirit of global harmony. मंदिर के समुदायों को एक वैश्विक शांति और सद्भावना के रूप में ये निम्नलिखित प्रार्थना समर्पित करने का निवेदन किया जा रहा है. So you can repeat after me. Dear Lord Krishna, let us fold our hands and in a mode of prayer, let us offer this prayer first in English and then Hindi. Dear Lord Krishna, dear Lord Chaitanya, प्रिय भगवान श्री कृष्ण, प्रिय भगवान श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभु, kindly bless and protect all the devotees. कृपा करके भक्तों को आशीर्वाद दें और उन्हें संरक्षण दें. And other religious minorities in Bangladesh, और बांग्लादेश के अन्य अल्पसंख्यक समुदायों को भी. May the current social tensions, वर्तमान सामाजिक तनाव, be so peacefully resolved, शांतिपूर्वक इसका समाधान हो. And may lasting harmony, दीर्घकालीन शांति, be established in the land of Bangladesh, बांग्लादेश में स्थापित हो. So now Guru Prasad Maharaj speaks. Many are asking what they can do. कई लोग पूछ रहे हैं वो क्या कर सकते हैं to help the devotees in Bangladesh. बांग्लादेश के भक्तों के समर्थन में सहायता में हम क्या कर सकते हैं, भक्तगण क्या कर सकते हैं। इस्कॉन जीबीसी के चेयरमैन गुरु प्रसाद स्वामी कह रहे हैं, वी आर आस्किंग ऑल इस्कॉन डिवोटीज एंड फ्रेंड्स, हम इस्कॉन के सभी भक्त और समर्थकों को ये कह रहे हैं, पूछ रहे हैं, प्रार्थना कर रहे हैं, टू ऑफर देयर हार्टफेल्ट प्रेयर्स, अपने हृदयपूर्वक प्रार्थनाओं को प्रस्तुत करें, एस्पेशली दिस संडे, विशेष रूप से इस रविवार दिसंबर 1 तारीख को, एंड ओवर द नेक्स्ट फ्यू वीक्स, और अन्य कई सप्ताहों तक, फॉर द वेलबींग ऑफ इस्कॉन डिवोटीज, इस्कॉन के भक्तों के विशेष समर्थन के लिए, एंड अदर माइनॉरिटीज इन बांग्लादेश, और बांग्लादेश के अन्य अल्पसंख्यक समुदायों के लिए। अनुत्तमा दास, इस्कॉन मिनिस्टर ऑफ कम्युनिकेशंस, सेड, अनुत्तमा दास जो कि इस्कॉन कम्युनिकेशंस मिनिस्ट्री के मिनिस्टर हैं, उन्होंने कहा, इस्कॉन इज अ पीसफुल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, इस्कॉन एक शांतिप्रिय संस्था है, एंड डिवोटीज इन बांग्लादेश कंट्रीब्यूट इन मेनी वेज टू देयर कंट्री, और बांग्लादेश के इस्कॉन के भक्तगण उनके देश बांग्लादेश के लिए विभिन्न रूपों में सहायक बनते हैं, सेवा करते हैं। अनफॉर्चुनेटली सम हु डोंट नो इस्कॉन वेल, दुर्भाग्यवश कुछ लोग जो इस्कॉन को भली भांति नहीं जानते, आर मिसरिप्रेजेंटिंग अस एंड आवर पीसफुल इंटेंशंस, हमारे शांति से अभिभूत अभिप्रायों को ठीक तरह से प्रस्तुत नहीं कर रहे हैं। अनुत्तमा प्रभु सेड फर्दर, अनुत्तमा प्रभु ने आगे कहा, वी आर मोस्ट ग्रेटफुल टू द हाई कोर्ट फॉर इट्स रिजेक्शन, वी आर मोस्ट ग्रेटफुल टू द हाई कोर्ट फॉर इट्स डिसीजन इन सपोर्ट ऑफ इस्कॉन, हम बांग्लादेश के हाई कोर्ट के प्रति अति कृतज्ञ हैं क्योंकि उन्होंने इस्कॉन के समर्थन में अपना निर्णय दिया। अर्लियर दिस वीक द बांग्लादेशी हाई कोर्ट रिजेक्टेड अ प्ली टू बैन इस्कॉन, इस सप्ताह में बांग्लादेश के हाई कोर्ट ने इस्कॉन को निष्कासित करने के लिए एक अर्जी को पूरी तरह रद्द कर दिया। इफ इस्कॉन मेंबर्स वुड लाइक टू एक्सप्रेस, अगर इस्कॉन के भक्तगण कुछ व्यक्त करना चाहें, देयर कंसर्न्स और सजेशंस, उनके सुझाव या उनके मन में कोई चिंता या शंकाएं, हाउ टू हेल्प द डिवोटीज इन बांग्लादेश, कि किस प्रकार हम बांग्लादेश के भक्तों को सहायक बन सकते हैं, दे शुड कॉन्टैक्ट द जीबीसी एग्जीक्यूटिव कमेटी, वो जीबीसी के एग्जीक्यूटिव कमेटी को संपर्क करें, अथवा और इस्कॉन कम्युनिकेशंस और देयर लोकल इस्कॉन रीजनल बॉडी, या फिर स्थानीय इस्कॉन का जो भी मंदिर हो या वहाँ पर समुदाय हो, उनके संपर्क में आप आएँ। अंत में जीबीसी ईसी की ओर से विशेष निवेदन है इस्कॉन के भक्तों को, प्लीज अवॉइड मेकिंग और फॉरवर्डिंग एनी पोस्ट्स और कमेंट्स दैट मे ऐड टू द टेंशंस, कृपा करके भक्तों से निवेदन है कि वो किसी भी प्रकार के पोस्ट या कमेंट या अपने मंतव्य सोशल मीडिया पर न डालें जिससे तनाव और अधिक बढ़ेगा। तो ये आपके सामने स्पेशल प्रेयर रिक्वेस्ट नवंबर 29, 2024 को जो प्रस्तुत किया गया हिज होलीनेस गुरु प्रसाद स्वामी महाराज और इस्कॉन कम्युनिकेशंस के द्वारा, वो हमने प्रस्तुत किया। सो एज रिक्वेस्टेड बाय द ISKCON GBC EC and the Communications Ministry, we are dedicating this Kirtan as a prayer, heartfelt prayer, intense prayer at the lotus feet of Shri Radha Gopinath Ji, Shri Gaurnitai, Srinath Ji, Bhagwan, Shri Gopal Ji and Srila Prabhupada for the protection and well-being of the devotees in Bangladesh. We are very fortunate that we will be led in the prayers today by His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj. On behalf of the devotees, I'll request His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj to lead us in these prayers, and all of us participate in this wholeheartedly. मैं परम पूज्य राधानाथ स्वामी महाराज, जो कि ISKCON के प्रमुख लीडर हैं और चौपाटी मंदिर और गोवर्धन इको विलेज के प्रवर्तक हैं, उनसे निवेदन करता हूं कि हम सभी को इन प्रार्थनाओं में लीड करें, जिससे कि बांग्लादेश के सभी भक्तों के अभ्युदय के लिए, संरक्षण के लिए और वहाँ की दीर्घकालीन शांति के लिए हम लोग अपने हृदय के अंतःकरण से श्री राधा कृष्ण से प्रार्थना कर सकें। श्रील प्रभुपाद की।
Let us all chant sincerely, with one voice, with one heart, in a prayer for the well-being of the people of Bangladesh. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine. Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Please raise your arm. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hari Hari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. You may stand up, please. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hari Hari, Hari Rama 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 Hari Hari. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Rama, Hari Hari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Nitai Gaur Haribo, 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 Haribo. Hare Nama, Krishna Yadavaya Nama. Hare Nama, Krishna Yadavaya Nama. Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namah.
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Hare Haraya Nama, Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Gopal Govinda Ram Sri Madhusudana. 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 Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohan. Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohan. Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohan. Giridhari Gopinath Hare Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha.